position do you think the Niners should target in round 2 of the draft, considering they don't have a first-round pick as of yet? And I don't think they're getting another second-round pick for Jimmy in this draft, although we'll see. Right now, they're at 61.
We're hoping. I'll say this. I'm going to give 2 answers, Grant, because I'm an a-hole and I'm selfish, okay?
I like it. Me
Number
too.
1, I personally would go offensive line because, again, back to my mantra, trade comfortable, that's priority 1. The rest is details. What I think this front offense will do, will draft an edge to go opposite Bosa.
Interesting, because I really liked Samson Ebukam down the stretch. I felt like they brought him in to be a situational pass rusher, which is not what he is. But once they gave him the job as a full-time defensive end,
it was up.
He's a hell of a run defender for a guy who looks like an outside linebacker. I mean, he really is. And then he had 5.5 sacks in the last 8 games. So to me, I think $8 million for a guy who could get you double-digit sacks is just coming into his own. So I'm curious to see what the Niners think of him. I'm actually encouraged. Maybe if they are, they don't necessarily have to take an edge at that spot. But if that's the best player available, you won't pass.
I would say this, based on the snap count uptick through the playoffs when it mattered most, the Niners love him. But also, I don't think that you draft an edge to replace him. I think, and we'll talk about this later on, you draft that pass rush specialist because we saw how good this defense could be in that very short window that D Ford was healthy. So I think that's what you're targeting. Can you get a pure edge, bend, speed dude to replace what D Ford was for that short window and add that to what you have now with Samson and all those things. And 2, I'll throw this in there too. I think Arden Key's walking. We saw this front office see what happened with Kerry Hyder. You get a cheap guy, he overplays, let him go get paid. Same thing with Arden Key. They're going to let him walk, and they'll just bring somebody else in. That's kind of the way
next guy is Maurice Hurst. They do the same thing.
If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, I'm sure they'll sign another guy. But Maurice Hurst is on deck. I'm sure they're thinking he can do everything Arden Key. And I think when they brought him in, they were thinking Hurst would be the interior rusher. I think they discovered mid-season that Arden, he wasn't doing that in preseason, was he?
No. Well, yeah, he wasn't. No, he was not.
I don't remember him doing that in training camp. It was something they figured out mid-season. It was genius. Chris Kosarick is damn good at his job.
Yes.
He really is. Matthew says, I read Wagner said he wants to play with Warner. Sorry, Aziz, you're out.
They're 2 of the best, man. They're 2 of the best, 100% you got to put them in. I mean, you go back to 2020, Warner was the number 1 All-Pro votes, and then you had Wagner number 2. I mean, they were right there.
Dude, who's Hater D. Vader? Hater Darth Vader? I don't know. Says, how does the female owner dynamic for Watson play for Watson in Seattle? Interesting question. The way I read it is the way I read it is that this owner is not as engaged in football as Paul Allen was, and her attitude is, Schneider, Carroll, it's your team. And it sounds like they're kind of acting like they own the place, which is how they just won a power struggle with Russell Wilson. I mean, how many coaches can win that? He did.
And look what again, social media does play a factor in this. They're putting the Wilson castaway clip up there and then deleting it. Never said anything positive or thankful to Wilson until after all the stuff came up. They didn't even tell Bobby Wagner that he was released. He found out outside of the team. This he's a potential Hall of Fame linebacker for 10 years, and you didn't even tell him? You're creating a really poor, I don't know, man. Sherman's being outspoken against him. Russell Wilson's not liked it there for 5 years. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's like Arizona on steroids, which is also bad. You got to take care of your people.
It seems like Carroll and Harbaugh are kind of similar, like a little rah-rah-ish, and it works in college because people are always coming in and out. But in the NFL, after 3 or 4 years, it's like I heard these mantras, I heard this speech, I heard this enough. I think that's kind of what happened to Harbaugh and Carroll. And that's why Carroll's trying to rebuild a little bit, because he knows he's a college coach at heart.
Yep. I like it.
Percy Robinson says, hey, Grant, I love the show. Got another prospect for you, speed rusher out of Ole Miss, Sam Williams. Check him out. What do you know about him?
Man, Sam Williams is fun. I'll say that. And I'll tell you this. This entire draft class is unreal. And if you look at Sam, he's powerful. He's short. About 270 pounds. He's short, thick. So if you go back to, oh my gosh, Elvis Dumerville, you remember that? Like that's one of my comps for him because
was so good.
he's short. He gets under. So like a lot of the tackles now are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and so he's your little bowling ball thick in the pants that can kind of push underneath those. So he's a little bit of an unorthodox pass rusher, but very fun, very productive. You can get him day 3 probably in this draft class because it's just so thick.
Nick Bonito. How do you pronounce his name? Bonito?
Yeah, Bonito. I hate Oklahoma. I'm a Longhorn myself, but he's fun. Dominated the Senior Bowl, went down there, had a great time. I'm not quite sure he's what we want. He's the exact opposite of Sam Williams. Light in the pants, undersized, small. I think 3-4 outside would probably be what's best for him. Off the ball, Sam linebacker, early downs, pass rush specialist, third downs, what I would put him at.